Welcome to today's explainer. We're diving into something genuinely fascinating today, chapter 16 of the Bhagavad Gita, also known as Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Now, a lot of folks approach these ancient texts expecting this rigid list of rules or harsh judgments about who's good and who's evil. But today, we're going to flip that entirely. We're not looking at this as some external judgment. Instead, think of it as a profound psychological mirror, one that reflects the everyday tendencies living inside literally all of us. So let's kick things off with a pretty massive question. When you look at human nature, are we inherently divine or are we, demonic? The text actually reveals this beautiful, super practical truth. We're right smack in the middle. We're navigating this uniquely human condition between two opposing forces every single day. We aren't gods and we aren't demons. We're humans equipped with intellect, and we're constantly shaping our reality by the thoughts we choose to feed. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The mirror within us. 2. Asuri Sampat. 3. Daivi Sampat. 4. Gates to destruction. And 5. Dharma as your inner compass. Let's jump right in. Section 1. The mirror within us. Let's establish our human baseline and see exactly how the mind holds both of these potentials at the exact same time. You see, we don't start with a blank slate, and we aren't purely one thing or the other. As humans, our nature is a real mix of the elevating sattva guna, that's the divine, and the binding tamaguna, the demonic or ignorant side. Think of life as a road, and you're in the driver's seat. Since we've got intellect and free will, we're constantly making these micro-decisions. We choose our direction. Are we going to steer toward the light of awareness, or kind of veer off into the darkness of ignorance? That choice is entirely up to us in every single moment. The great sage Vedavyasa actually uses this entire chapter as a brilliant tool for introspection. He doesn't paint on some pristine, perfectly white canvas. No way. He paints a vivid picture directly onto the dirty, restless, or chappalam canvas of our very own minds. He dramatizes these extreme qualities so clearly that we literally can't help but recognize our own fleeting thoughts, our own anxieties, our own selfish moments, just staring right back at us. It's not about looking out the window to judge others, it's about looking squarely in the mirror. Moving to section 2, Asuri Sampat. Now we need to look at this not as some mythological, pitchfork-wielding evil, but as the very real psychological traps that create our everyday suffering. At the very core of this asuric or demonic tendency is a specific worldview. This mindset operates on the belief that the universe has no truth, absolutely no moral foundation, and is completely disconnected from anything divine. When you operate from that space, you feel like there are no guiding principles. So what happens? Actions become driven entirely by sheer lust and self-centered gratification. By completely denying any higher connection, people stuck in this mindset become adversaries, not just to the world around them, but to themselves. They are literally destroying their own peace of mind. There's this incredibly powerful quote from the source material that nails this concept. Chinta se chittatak, which translates to from anxiety to the funeral pyre. It's heavy, right? But a purely materialistic, desire-driven life promises happiness, yet delivers the exact opposite. When those asuric tendencies take over, even if someone gets everything they thought would make them happy, they don't find peace. Instead, they get trapped in this endless cycle of anxiety, worrying about hoarding wealth, defending their ego, keeping up their social media clout. It's a restless state of worry that stretches from their very first anxious thought all the way to their final breath. All right, section 3, Daivi Sampat. Let's see how understanding all that suffering naturally builds the ultimate solution for our inner growth. Now, Sri Krishna actually outlines 26 divine qualities here, but don't let that big number overwhelm you. At their core, we're talking about foundational values: fearlessness, purity of mind, profound compassion, genuine humility, and truthfulness. And here's the key. These aren't artificial, rigid rules you have to force upon yourself. They're the natural expressions of your higher self. Cultivating these virtues acts as an instant antidote to our daily anxieties. These are the qualities that immediately level up our leadership, transform our relationships, and bring us genuine peace of mind. And there's a deeply encouraging concept tied to this called abhijatasya. That translates to being born with an inherent inclination for these exact values. What that means is, if you're listening to this explainer right now and you feel even a tiny spark of appreciation for virtues like compassion and truth, or you actually want to cultivate them, well, those divine inclinations are already alive inside you. You're not starting from scratch. The seeds of the divine are naturally planted within your mind. Your only job is just to water them so they can bloom. As you nourish those seeds, this beautiful upward sequence kicks in.
Cultivating these divine qualities step by step creates what's called chitta shuddhi, which is the purity of the mind and intellect. As your mind clears out the static, you naturally detach from all those petty anxieties and kindle this deep, genuine desire for spiritual knowledge. Ultimately, this upward spiral prepares you for total liberation. It is quite literally a step-by-step psychological upgrade.
Section 4. 3 Gates to Destruction. So, if divine qualities elevate us, what brings us crashing down? Well, here is Krishna's ultimate warning about the specific psychological traps that guarantee a total downfall. This is a cascading trap known as the 3 gates to self-destruction, and it always begins with step 1, kama, or unchecked desire. But, when reality inevitably blocks that selfish desire, it instantly turns into step 2, krodha, anger. That furious anger then rapidly clouds our judgment, morphing right into step 3, lobha, an insatiable greed. This toxic trio completely snuffs out the light of our intelligence, steering us straight toward the downfall of our character. Basically, if you crack open just that first gate, you're paving a high-speed expressway for the rest.
There is a fantastic story of Akbar and Birbal in our source text that really brings this to life. Emperor Akbar asks, is hell actually real? So Birbal takes him to a Mahatma, who out of nowhere abruptly insults the emperor. Akbar turns bright red, practically steaming with furious anger. The Mahatma points right at him and says, look, you are in hell right now. Realizing the lesson, Akbar immediately drops the anger and smiles. The Mahatma gently replies, and now you are in heaven. The takeaway here is absolutely huge. Holding on to desire, anger, and greed instantly creates a personal hell right here on earth. Dropping them places you directly in heaven. These are present psychological states, not some distant locations in the afterlife.
Moving to Section 5, Dharma, your inner compass. Let's look at the highly practical tool we need to navigate away from those 3 gates. Think of this as a spiritual first aid kit for your daily life. Whenever you feel that negative pull of kama, desire, you can actively deploy its direct antidote, dhamma, or self-control. When you feel the heat of krodha, anger, rising up in your chest, you counter it with daya, compassion. And when lobha, greed, starts tightening its grip, you practice dana, charity. By intentionally applying the exact opposite positive value, you immediately neutralize the psychological poison. It's brilliant.
But you might be wondering, how do we know exactly when and how to apply these antidotes? When our minds are totally confused, our intellect alone just isn't always enough to cut through the noise. And this is where we rely on scriptural wisdom, like the Bhagavad Gita, as our pramanam. A pramanam is an independent means of knowledge. Think of it like an objective spiritual GPS for when you're lost in the heat of the moment. When you're questioning what you ought to do or what you absolutely need to avoid, it serves as your ultimate trusted reference point.
These scriptures give us a rock-solid foundation of moral codes to keep us perfectly on track. And they're broken down simply into 2 main areas. Vidhi, which are the positive directives and actions we absolutely must embrace for spiritual progress, and nished, which are the specific actions and pitfalls we need to actively avoid. By aligning our choices with these time-tested guidelines, we stop ourselves from being taken for a disastrous ride by our own restless, easily distracted minds. So, the crucial takeaway from the conclusion of chapter 16 is profound in its empowering simplicity. We are the masters of our own minds. We hold the immense potential for divine, expansive growth, but we also hold the tragic capacity for demonic, self-inflicted suffering. The universe doesn't force either upon us. The ultimate choice of which path to nourish, which qualities to feed, and which destiny to manifest, well, that belongs entirely and uniquely to you. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought to carry into your day. True spiritual growth isn't just about making these grand, sweeping gestures. It happens in the micro moments. So when you're faced with your very next everyday challenge, maybe it's a difficult coworker, a traffic jam, or a delayed flight, which psychological tendency will you actively choose to reflect in the mirror of your own mind? Will you swing open the gate to anxiety and anger, or will you use your inner compass to choose compassion? The canvas is yours to paint.